No, that's very true. So, folks, listen, let us help you. Call us 1-800-440-0434. Go to mymoneyissafe.com and we'll be glad to help you. And, folks, sorry for my voice. I've had laryngitis all week, and then it's hard to be in the business that I'm in and not use your mouth. And I always tell people that I don't have a problem not running my mouth. It seems to be running all the time. And when I try to shut it, I couldn't even shut it this week. So
no, and the time that he can't talk is when he needs to the most. But that's the way it is.
Yes, that's the way it works. And I've got my little dog in here, Macy, and she's over here, and she's trying to help do the radio show. But folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Continue to enjoy the show, and we look forward to your comments. mymoneysafe.com.
Are you there?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Greg Ellie of the Prosperity Group, and you realize the government is kicking the can down the road. If you want to learn how to create a pension-like income, or
ain't you looking good?
Thank you, sir. How do I sound?
Ain't you sounding good?
All right.
Now you're gone again.
So we're going to do a show?
That's my plan. What about yours?
Well, I'm still swimming around in this Medicare crap, trying to figure all this out.
I've been doing that for 2 days.
Yep. We'll see how far we get with it. You could ask me a lot of stupid questions, and I'll give a lot of stupid answers.
Well, I might know a little bit too now because I've been studying it for the last couple of days.
Good. You can help me.
Together, we'll get through it, sir.
We'll do it. All right.
I really want to know more about what you think of these plans. I mean, are they really worth it? Because they seem like I've been reading that some hospitals are now starting to stop taking Advantage plans.
Advantage is different than Medigap.
Right, I know, but that's why I think Advantage is probably the worst of the three.
Well, the problem with Advantage is that if you have big out-of-pocket expenses for the hospital, then the Advantage plans they don't pay, and then you have to pay, and then people are not paying the hospitals.
Yeah, the Mayo Clinic stopped taking it.
They're stiffing the hospitals.
So I think I'm going to go with the Gap and fill in those prices and then just kind of stay on Medicare there.
Yeah, I think that's the thing to do because then you get Part C and then you get secondary coverage for A and B.
And what's the which one is the prescription? D?
I mean D, yeah. C is the Medicare Advantage. D is you get the D coverage. And you get the A and the B coverage with the Medigap plans. And
yeah, I think that's the way I'm going to go. If I went with an Advantage plan, you wouldn't even be in it. I was talking to the guy. He said, no, he's not in our plan. So you'd have to find a new doctor. I didn't like that already.
Yeah. They're basically HMOs. So you have to go to where they want you to go.
Yeah, they really seem to take complete control of your health care at that point.
Oh, yeah. They really do. Which makes it tough. Excuse me.
What else are we talking about? Anything? You got anything else in mind?
Yeah, I got tons of things in mind. What do you want to know about? I'll tell you.
Israel, I guess, is on top of everybody's mind still these days.
I am bored with that.
Okay, how about Ukraine? Anything happening there?
Yeah, the Russians were hitting them with drones in the Ukrainian cities, so the Ukrainians sent a couple dozen drones into Moscow.
Sure that shook a few people up?
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
Is he dead or not? What's going on over there, man? Why can't they just say, hey, the guy's dead?
Do you think they killed him, or did they just send him to his home in Siberia?
Siberia, he's got a better place than that. And I guess his girlfriend's disappeared too now.
Oh, really?
That's what I was reading yesterday. No, I don't know if she's in hiding or protective custody, as they call it, or what.
My. Things do change, don't they?
Glad to live in America.
Let's hope it stays America. Looks like things are getting more conservative, though. Looks like we're going to have Trump or somebody like Trump back in the White House, hopefully. And then Javier Milei, Argentina's new president, he's a right winger.
The rest of the world's always a couple of years behind us.
Did you hear he wants to put Argentina on the U.S. dollar and take it off of their peso?
Not sure if that's good or bad.
Well, he wants to wrestle the the feds down there, make them stop printing money because their inflation rate is, I don't know. Let me see how high it is. It's ridiculous. It's like let me see what.
Not around 20%, not one of those kind of things, is it?
No, it's their inflation rate's been in the hundreds over the past few years.
Whoa. Yeah, you might want to start all over then.
Yeah. Let's see, I gotta find it. I'll figure it out. I'll let you know as soon as I find it. But it's ridiculous. Unbelievably high.
Well, I know Saudi Arabia is talking about another oil cut to try and get the price of oil up. So that might be something we could talk about.
How's that going to affect us? You think? Are we?
Well, if they cut a lot worldwide, the prices will go up.
Inflation hit a high of nearly 100% in 2000, and it's going up more and more. Interest rates are at 17%. I mean, they've got a mess. You know, they have.
Yeah, time to get out of town, man.
And so their currency's lost 90% of its value against the dollar on the black market since 2019. So you could get a really cheap vacation down there right now.
Well, then let's go. Let's get on a boat.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, you got about 7 minutes before show starts here, buddy.
All right. Well, you gonna go do something, or
I thought I'd get some fresh air,
Yeah, I can't listen to that show that's on now. I don't understand it. Confuses me.
It's called the Prosperity Hour. They're going to make you rich, or themselves. Once somebody's getting rich.
Somebody's getting rich. Yeah. All right. Well, go grab a smoke. I'm gonna mute myself and cough and sneeze.
We'll see you back here right after the weather.
Bye.
Don't do it that way.
You
So
should.
if you're not sure, call us. Call us at 1-800-440-0434. Go to mymoneyissafe.com. Patty, I also want to talk about Social Security briefly. You know, I've told our listeners we're going to be doing Social Security workshops. I'm excited about that. We'll be doing them in the Greenville, South Carolina area, hopefully in the Sarasota, Bradenton area. But it's how to take advantage of the opportunities that you have with Social Security. We have a very unique Social Security strategy for the person that says, hey, I'm not going to touch my Social Security till I'm 70. I don't need the money. So I'll just increase the deferred retirement credits. Do you know what the break-even point is for most people if they just did that? About 81 years old.
Wow.
Would you rather use the money between 70 and 80 or 80 and 90? Think about that. That's a question that people need to ask themselves. So, folks, we can help with these type of strategies. It's important. And again, make sure that I'm going to repeat this because this is not a misquote or an error that I made, but we have accounts where we can show you how to add 25 to 45% into your retirement account, create a pension-like income. So when I talk about a pension-like income, I am talking about an account that guarantees money for you and your spouse. And many of these accounts have what I also call an inflation-friendly increasing income, which means, think about it. How many of you have a pension right now that goes up? There are hardly any out there that are like that. They're pretty non-existent. And how many pensions are portable that after the spouse passes, the rest can go to your children? Again, very few and far between. So we can help with these type of strategies to make sure that your income is safe and guaranteed. And where we're talking about an account that you can add 25 to 45% in your money, that's crucial. Because again, the government's kicking the can down the road. I was reading an article, and Patty, you know what I want you to do before we run out of time? I want you to go over the audit or the sheets that you were talking about, the government, with some of the things you found. But folks, right now, when this thing hits, it's going to be big. Protect your money. Take advantage of the short-term gain. Don't get greedy with it. Don't you kick the can down the road with your money. But Patty, what did you discover in looking at our government's balance sheet?
The reason I laughed when you said that, I don't know if the listeners heard me because I wasn't right at the mic. It's because this sheet, we were talking earlier about, can we see the numbers,
Right.
etc. It's 245 pages.
Oh, well, that's an easy read.
It's an easy read. I mean, but yes, here is one: net cost, gross cost. Oh, and just so you know, it's in billions of dollars.
Oh, it's in billions.
So negative, when it looks like it's negative 7,420, it's negative 7,420,000. So would that be trillion?
Well,
If it's in billions, then it would be trillions.
it probably would be. What's negative? What is showing as
The
negative?
gross cost.
The gross cost of what?
Earned revenue is 531 billion. Gross cost is 7,420 billion.
Wait,
The
let me stop you.
loss-
Let me
okay.
stop you. Let me stop you right there.
Yes. Here.
Could we run our businesses at a deficit? Right?
Right.
Okay. In South Carolina, wow, I'm looking at the assets and liabilities. It's all negative. All negative. And we're $5 trillion higher in 2022 than we were. I'm sorry. Yeah. $4.5 trillion higher from 2021 to 2022. So which one's running better? No, just they're kicking the can down the road.
That
but
can's
they're
getting,
they're
that can's
it's
getting pretty
deeper.
darn big, isn't it?
I had a pastor that said, when you feel like you're in a hole in life, he goes, just climb out of the hole. He said, many people just keep digging because they feel like they need to do something. And that seems to be our financial plan right now as a nation. So, folks, what is that source? Would you source that for our listeners so they can look at it themselves, if you're able to?
Yes.
We got about a minute left. So, folks, listen to this. This is interesting.
It is the financial report of the United States government fiscal year 2022.
22.
Yes.
And it's in the hole by
Yes.
5 trillion.
By 5 trillion. Yes.
Okay. Well, folks, you can't, you know what? I listened to Robert Kiyosaki. He said something that's very interesting. It's not how much money you make, it's how much you keep. And it's so true.
Right. And you get that on the Department of the Treasury is where you find that report.
So look it up, folks. Department of the Treasury, and you can see how the government is kicking the can down the road. What does that mean for you and I? It means we better be paying attention and we better be ready. We haven't even seen the digital dollar unfold like they wanted to. Folks, thank you.
Still there, Doc?
Reach us online. Go to mymoneyissafe.com. Go on YouTube, Facebook. Folks, you can also see us on Faith Talk, letstalkfaith.com, or theanswertampa.com, theanswersarasota.com, or you can go to YouTube at mymoneyissafe.com, WSPA, your Carolina and South Carolina, and then go to Prosperity Group at Facebook. Thanks again, folks. God bless you. We'll see you next week.
I got a feeling.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Greg Ellie of the Prosperity Group, and you realize the government is kicking the can down the road. If you want to learn how to create a pension-like income or create an inflation-friendly increasing income, then you need to give us a call. And let us show you a tax-free strategy that could leave a legacy or create tax-free income for you. If you want to learn about these strategies, call us at 1-800-440-0434, and we'll meet with you in Sarasota, Bradenton. So glad to talk to you.
Tampa Bay's only conservative station, AM 860, The Answer, WGUL. You need to download the Answer Tampa app or listen online at theanswertampa.com. Tune in at Odyssey. Here's the latest from the Answer News Center.
With SRN News, I'm Michael Harrington in Washington.
You there, Doc? I can't see you anymore. You turned your camera off?
Yes, I did.
Ah, very good. Okay, just checking.
You want me to
face
turn
pressure
on?
from
Will that make you feel better?
Whatever you want. I just want to make sure we were still connected.
How about that?
Oh, there you go. Now I don't feel alone anymore. I was getting frightened.
You're not alone. You're never alone, Ken. I'm with you, even in your heart all the time,
Wherever I go. That's right.
wherever you go. All
All right. Hang in there. We're getting close.
right. All right. I'm hanging.
Oh, and I didn't do any work on the musical thing, so I'll give you my cue.
What's going on with the music feed? I still don't.
I don't know why. I don't understand it, and neither does Robert at the moment.
Well, tell them to fix it.
I did several times.
Oh my God.
All right, hang on. Maybe you'll hear it today. I don't know.
We'll see.
Andy McNamara of the National Center on Sexual Exploitation says Pornhub is probably already in violation of federal statutes.
Under the law, you're not allowed to host or facilitate, distribute any kind of child sexual abuse materials. And there's also a law called FOSTA SESTA against online platforms knowingly, which is a high legal standard, facilitating sex trafficking.
She says millions of children are being put at risk by the company every day. This is SRN News.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The following program is sponsored by Bay Area Medical Can Care Clinic.
The latest from AccuWeather at the top and bottom of the hour. Only on AM 860, The Answer.
We'll have a mix of clouds and sunshine today with a thunderstorm in parts of the area and a high of 79. Then very cloudy tonight with a shower in spots and a low of 67. Less humid tomorrow, variable cloudiness, high on Monday, 73. Then low humidity Tuesday with variable cloudiness and a high of 66. That's your AccuWeather forecast. I'm Holly Holdren for AM 860, The Answer.
Go, Doc.
Good morning, everybody. This is Dr. Bill, your radio MD, and we're coming at you on WGUL and Facebook and YouTube and 860 AM, 997 something or another. I don't know. We're all over the place, man. Any rate, we got a good show today. Ken asked me to do some research on Medicare, and I said, okay, Ken, you do some research too, because this is a tough topic.
It is. It's very confusing.
It's very confusing. But first, I wanted to let you know about President-elect Javier Milei's top campaign proposal. He was just elected to the presidency in Argentina, and he's I think he's a libertarian and a real conservative guy. And they have been running an inflation rate of 143%.
Oh, man.
They're the third largest economy in South America. And they used to be at the turn of the last century, they were the richest country per capita in the world.
What happened?
Oh, they just, they went to the socialist side of things and screwed everything up, and they didn't modernize, and it was just a real mess. At any rate, they've been printing money like crazy, trying to keep up with all their social welfare programs and public works programs, and so he is going to step on the Fed there. He wants to take the ability to print money away from the Fed down there, and he wants to put them on the US dollar and get rid of their peso. It's such a mess. Their peso has lost 90% against the dollar since 2020. So
has anybody ever done that? I mean, how do you switch currencies like that?
Well, you have to go to the central world banks, and they'll tell you what the exchange rate is, and then you buy dollars with your pesos as much as you can, and then you have that in your circulation. And if you need more, you got to go buy more.
Yeah.
So you can't just go print it. So what he's forcing them to do is forcing the country to only get what it needs and that it can afford. So you have to have something to put up as collateral if you're going to buy U.S. dollars. Most people put up their own cash, most countries, but Argentina will probably have to make some kind of long-term concessions in order to switch over to the dollar. I don't think it's going to be easy for them to do. I don't know if they have enough pesos to buy enough dollars to run their economy, but this is a good lesson for us. This is a good lesson. When you go too far with social spending, it never works. It's always going to turn out to be a mess because you can't give everything to everybody. You can't do
exactly. It doesn't work.
It just does not work, and it's unfortunate. And Medicare is a good example. And the cost of Medicare, by the way, has gone up a little bit in some areas and gone down in other areas. But what you're going to pay this year is, let's see,
170 something, 174 for me at least, I think.
Yeah,
Like
174. Now, we got really hit hard this year, Ken, because we sold the office building. So our income jumped, a 1 year jump, like, I don't know, 500, 600, 700,000 is the capital gains on that we still had to pay, but they count that as ordinary income.
Yep.
They send it to Medicare. So guess what? My Social Security check went down by $500 a month this year.
You're kidding.
No, for 2024, it's going to be $500 less and Myung Jews too. So we're going to lose $1,000 for 12 months until we file our tax returns for next year, and at which time we will have, or for this year actually, at which time we'll drop back next year to our usual rate, and our Social Security income will go up because they're taking almost $500 out extra for Medicare because of our income.
Wow.
Our 1 year income.
Hmm.
So
sorry to hear that, Doc.
That's
no Singapore trip next year.
No more trips. Okay, so let's talk about Medicare since we're on it already.
All right.
So you got Part A, which is the hospital coverage and the acute nursing home coverage. You got Part B, which is the doctors and the physical therapist and the outpatient stuff.
That's you.
That's me. And then you got Part D, which is drug coverage, and that's a little tricky too. And
why is that tricky?
Well, because different if you get A and B and you want to get drug coverage, Part D, the best thing is to get the Medigap. You can buy the Part D, but if you get the Medigap, you can choose different levels so that if you have some serious condition like scleroderma, where you need all kinds of expensive medications, you may want to look at a more expensive Medigap plan so that you can get better drug coverage. I don't know if Part D will cover everything. They say they do, but I don't believe it. The bill that the Congress passed at at Biden's behest a couple of years ago was ballyhooed as covering all these expensive drugs that no one can afford. Well, only covered 5 or 6 of them. It's just so you
Well,
have
you're
to.
talking about your basic drugs, though.
If you don't need anything fancy,
You're
the
fine.
basic drugs, you're fine. You can get a less expensive Medigap plan, or if you want to pay out of pocket, you can get A, B, and D and just pay for those yourself. But the Medigap makes more sense. The Medigap plans are the plans that are like secondary insurance coverage for your copays, because remember, you've got a pretty hefty copay out of pocket. I think the hospital has gone up to the maximum you have to pay is 6 or 7 grand now, but that's a lot of money for most people.
When you're retired, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what's happening, Ken, as you pointed out earlier when we were talking, is that a lot of these Part C plans, these Advantage plans, which are HMOs, they're stopping their coverage for hospitalization at a certain level, and then you're supposed to take over. And so people are stiffing the hospitals, and the Mayo Clinic, as you pointed out, is not taking Part C anymore.
Yeah, that could kill the whole industry, could it not? I mean,
Yeah, because the Advantage plans are good if you're not going to go in the hospital.
Okay. As long as you stay well.
If you're staying well, then that's a good thing. Now you can always change in the period where you can jump from Advantage to Medigap or whatever you want is, I believe, October 15th to December 4th. So that's going to close soon.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about switching back, let me tell you about the Part C plans. They are HMOs, so you are restricted to the doctors within their panel, and you have to make sure that you look at the panel and see that there are people in there that you won't want or trust or know are reputable or whatever. And remember, they will restrict you to in-service or in-panel physicians for referrals. Now, if you want to go outside of the network, then you have to pay another 10 or 20% of the cost of the visit. So, because as you know, a lot of these plans have negotiated with the doctors and have said, here's what we'll give you, and this is all you're going to get. So you manage these patients, and if they have to go outside of the plan, then you're going to have to kick in some money too, or we're going to take some away from you. And so then the patients have to pony up and pay for the extra, because the subspecialists, they're going to charge more if they're not in the plan, if they're not on the panel. You understand?
Sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's much more of a employer plan where
Yeah.
you do have to stay within the network.
You have to stay within the network, and they have a pharmacy benefit manager. Although most of the Medigap plans also have pharmacy benefit managers, but their pharmacy benefit managers are going to be tougher, I guarantee you.
Hmm.
So if you
Does it make any difference on your side what you get paid, or you get paid the same for a procedure no matter what because of Medicare rules?
No. If I'm seeing an Advantage patient and we have a small panel, a small group of Medicare Advantage Part C patients through I think it's WellCare is the insurance company that has that, then we're limited in what we can charge. We get a flat fee, and then we get so much extra. Now we do get paid for procedures, et cetera, as long as we do them in the office. However, at the end of the year, when they tally up everything, if we've gone over our limit, then we don't get anything from the plan, and we may have to give something back. Now, if we're under our limit, then we get a bonus check. So the incentive is to not do anything, to do as little as you can.
That's always been my incentive.
So you can hang on to more.
Why I went in the radio.
Yeah,
Do anything.
yeah, you can sit there.
Exactly. Sit around, talk all day. Come on.
And it's fun.
It is, yes.
So if you're basically healthy and you don't have a need for a lot of major health care at this point in your life, and let's say you're in your 65 to 70 range, and 65 is what most people get in Medicare, although some people who are disabled get it earlier in life, then you might want to think about a Part C plan.
Mhm.
And if you're not real picky about what doctors you see, then what's the difference? I mean, if you're just going in for flu shots and annual well visits and sore
Yeah.
throats and earaches,
Right.
what's the
Plus they throw on things that you like they did $2,000 for hearing aids, things like that you don't normally see in insurance package.
Now, with the Medigap plans, you can find plans that will cover uh, uh, extra things like hearing and dental and eye care. But a lot of the Part C plans will have this included automatically, so
Yes.
that you can go, and they'll even offer you rides to the doctor's office. And I think there's a program now, if you're under a certain income level, you can even get a little bit of money kicked back into your Social Security. So there are some benefits to it, but of course you have to stop and think, am I going to stay healthy during this year,
Yeah.
during this Medicare year? And if you say no, I don't think so. I've got some major problems going on here. My doctor said I need a stent or a bypass or whatever. I better get the Part D with the A, the B, and the D that comes with the Medigap plans. So
A lot to think about when you're going. I was looking at this stuff for the last 2 days. That's how I spent my Thanksgiving holiday. And I kind of had an epiphany the other day when I was looking at it. I said, I can't think about what I need now, though. I really can't, because I need a hearing aid. Okay. Well, I can go out and buy a hearing aid if I have to, but I have to look at what's going to look like for me 10, 20 years from now. What am I going to need then? Because I think from what I've been reading, you're kind of penalized a little bit if you try to go back and forth between these plans and Medicare. When you go back to, if you want to go to, say, back to Medicare, I think there's a surcharge that you pay every month for the rest of your life because you waited longer than 65 to get on.
If you delay, then you're going to pay 10% extra
For the rest of your life, every month.
Every month. For the
Every
rest of
month.
your
It's
life.
not just a one-time charge.
So if you have Social Security, then you're automatically you're in Medicare. But if you don't have your Social Security yet, and a lot of people don't, because although Medicare kicks in at 65, Social Security for most people now doesn't kick in until 67 or
That's right.
68.
I'm a year and a half away from Social Security. Yeah.
So you have 7 months window. You have the 3 months before your month of birth, and 3 months after your month of birth I believe it's 3 months to sign up for Medicare. So make sure you do that. The day it becomes available for you, the day you're eligible, get on the website and sign up so you don't end up paying that 10%. Now, if you have an employer sponsored plan, then you don't have to pay that 10% extra if you stay with it. But if you don't have a plan and then you lay out for a year or two and then you jump into Medicare, you're going to pay more.
Now, on the other side, on the Advantage side, they can't refuse you if you want to plan right now for any health reasons whatsoever if you jump on at 65. But if you go to Medicare and then try to go over to an Advantage plan because you don't like standard Medicare, then they can start taking into account before they price you out what your health is actually like. And so you're kind of penalized if you try to jump back and forth. So it's an important decision that you really got to think about, and you got to think years in the future.
And also remember that if you don't have an Advantage plan and you want to jump in one in the middle of the year, you can't do it unless you have a 5-star plan in your area. And the 5-star plans are plans that Medicare looks at and grades all the plans. There are certain things that we have to do for our Medicare Advantage patients. And this is important to understand that the ratings are 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, 1-star. When you look at these Advantage plans too, make sure that the panels are big enough. So if the panel that you're looking at only has 400 or 500 doctors, you're not in a big panel. You need to be in a panel where there's 2, 3, 4, 5,000 doctors, and that way there's a lot of specialists that you can see within the plan. Because if you have to go outside of the plan, guess what? Going to cost you more.
Yeah.
Going to cost you more.
A lot of lot to think about before you
Oh.
just decide to do this.
It's a big deal. It's a big
Yeah.
deal.
It's a big life choice. Yeah.
Now the monthly fee that you pay is what, 172, 174. If you're in that lower income, and I think it's like under $100,000 or something like that range. But if you are making more than that, or if you're a couple, it's probably 160, 170. If you're making more than that, then you get dinged, and they'll take money out of your Social Security to pay your Medicare premium. So it goes from 174 to almost $500 a month, as I was saying.
Wow.
And that's what we're having deducted out of our Social Security this year. Before we had 174, so we have dropped considerably. And I guess I can't retire now for another year.
Well, don't retire, Doc. I need you.
No, I'm not. I'm going to keep working.
I'll just show up at your house.
Listen, when I can't find my way home or I can't find my way to the office, then I'm going to
Then fine, retire. But I still may show up at your house.
Okay, you can come on over. You know where I live.
What's going on over there? Anything new in the condo association? Any troubles? Or
Oh my God,
they were expecting you?
No, they had a recall, and
they tried to get you out, did they?
Yeah. So we did a little loop-de-loop on them. We brought two more people on board as board members. Then the three of us that were on resigned, and they brought another person on, so that their recall was moot. And it's fraudulent. So they've committed fraud. They pre-filled out the ballots and handed them to people. And guess what now? State statute just came in this fall.
That's very serious. Yes, now that's very serious.
It's now a misdemeanor crime.
Yeah.
And in addition, if the regulatory board looks at all of this, they may say that these people can't participate or vote in any of the HOA activities.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well.
So
it's the way it should be.
And
stuff the ballot. This is not Chicago.
It's not?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's snowing up there today. It's 29.
Okay. All right.
Believe me, you don't want to be there.
No, I hear it's snowing up north.
Yes, it is. Poor babies.
Yep.
I miss it.
So this is the situation too, is we had fined one of the members because she was so disruptive and assaultive and demeaning and writing lies about the board members and so on and so forth. And so we presented this at a meeting a couple of months ago, and she pitched a fit, and she said she wanted to appeal it, which is her right, and she filed her appeal within 7 days. So now we're starting the process, and we sent out, well, I didn't send it out, the new board sent out the format, which is you have to make your case in writing. And so she doesn't like that. She said, there's no format here, and what am I supposed to be writing about? And part of the problem is that we said repeatedly to her and other members of the community, because they keep saying there's no transparency, we say everything's online, everything's in the newsletter, you can call
read it, yeah,
and they won't do it. They won't do it. They want to go up to the clubhouse and complain to the LCAM, the person who's here on behalf of the management company. And so we just told the LCAM, we said, don't go to the clubhouse, just work from home, because they're tying up her whole day complaining.
Mm-hmm.
So now she says, and I know what her next step is going to be, that this is illegal and you can't do this. And, they're all going to go get attorneys. Of course, they don't do it.
Yeah, when it comes time to pay somebody, yeah.
But guess what? They've got some big legal fees coming up soon, because Dr. Bill's not going to take any of this lying down. That is not happening.
So no attorneys are live in any of the homes, I take it.
We had a state circuit court judge renting here for a while.
Yeah.
I said to her, I hope I don't see you. She says, unless you murder somebody, you won't make it to my court. So apparently the circuit court judges at the
they don't deal with HO.
They're not going to deal with the little crap. They don't care about, petty theft or armed robbery.
You got to have a body before you see
You got to
them.
have a body before you can get in there. You got to something cold and stiff.
All right.
So
Well, I'm glad you're taking charge there. Don't let them boss you around.
No, I'm not going to, you can't defame me. You can't slander and libel me. That's not going to happen. I am not putting up with that, Ken. I mean, even though I am a no good, low down, dirty, rotten son of a mother, I don't deserve to be treated the way they have treated me. And I've done a lot for the community and continue to. I'm still active with the board. I'm doing things for the board and with the board. And I'm not going to be treated like a piece of garbage.
And you're not just a delegator. You actually go out there and dig the ditches sometimes and things
I
like
dig
that.
the ditches. Yesterday, I went out in Pond 5. The water level's low, so the aerator was exposed, and that'll burn up. So I unplugged the aerator.
Right.
And,
somebody's got to do that. Yeah.
I mean, somebody has to do it because a couple of the guys are not down here, a couple of the board members. And the third board member, he really doesn't know what to do. He's brand new and he's still learning.
Yeah. Well,
so somebody
they're lucky to have you, Doc.
Yeah, they're lucky to have me. And that, and they say, "Well, you're so arrogant." I'm not arrogant. I'm just. This is what it is. You think you're smarter than most people. I think that I have my mother's brain. That's what I think.
Well, you know the rules. You know the laws. That's what you got to stay within.
You have to read the bylaws, and they won't read them. We had one meeting where this woman was ranting and raving, and she was citing chapters out of the state statutes. And I said, "Excuse me, that's chapter 718. That applies to condominiums and mobile home parks. We're a 720. We're an HOA. We're not that. And that doesn't apply here." I never heard from her again, but
well,
they don't like it when you.
But they see that as being condescending, I guess.
Well, I think so, and then.
But you're informing them. That's all you're really doing.
All you're really doing, and so what they don't like is that I run it by Robert's Rules of Order. And the president before me, who is my wingman or was my wingman, he was the president, and it was chaos, and people were yelling and screaming and dropping the F-bomb in the middle of meetings and disruptive. And so I came in, I said, "Look, the bylaws are very simple. They say meetings will be conducted according to Robert's Rules of Order." And so I went through Robert's Rules of Order. And so if you're out of line, if you're cursing, or if you're not staying on topic, and you're being disorderly, then I'll mute you. That's it.
Oh, okay.
And they don't like that.
Oh, so these are all done online, these meetings.
We're doing it on Zoom because we don't want to go to the clubhouse and have these crazy people yelling and screaming at us.
I can understand that.
And then the new president, at the last meeting, he opened the floor to whatever people wanted to talk about. Nobody wanted to talk. And they didn't have anything to say. They just want the right to talk. They don't want to really say or do anything because they don't know what to say or do.
Well, they won't even go read the bylaws.
They won't read the bylaws.
Not a lot you can do for them, Doc. They just want to complain. Or people just want to complain.
Yeah, there's a small group of chronic complainers, and they're always stirring it up, and they're always trying to figure out some way to take over. And we laugh because we've got a hairdresser that wants to be president. She doesn't even have a college education, and she can't. I mean, the books alone, this is a $400,000 or $500,000 operating budget, and we probably have $40-50 million worth of property here, and we're responsible for upkeep of $2 or $3 million of it. And
I know what you're doing.
You got to know what you're doing.
Well, you're going to be ripped off incredibly all the time.
All the time. And that's what was happening with the prior boards. Anytime anything came up, the presidents would call the corporate attorney. And so the bill for corporate attorney fees alone one year was $20,000.
Wow.
And we've only spent $2,000 or $3,000 a year because we know what we're doing, and we don't have to call her and ask her every little thing like, can we put in a new heating pump for the pool? We know what to do. We don't need to talk to her about every little thing. It's just ridiculous. It really is sad because it's a waste of money. And then people complain they want things done. And we say, well, that's not in the budget. They say, why not? say, well, we have we have an operating expense, which is part of your homeowners association fee, and then we have a capital budget, which is the reserve plan, and that cannot be spent unless it's in the year to be spent. I mean, we can shift things around a little bit, but big projects, redoing the roofs, for instance. One set of people, or one person actually was yelling and screaming that she wanted the roof on her building replaced. And we got two different opinions from two different roofing companies. And they said, no, you don't need to replace the whole roof. Just repair these areas here.
Makes sense.
And she was going to sue us and get an attorney and all this. Of course, we never heard anything after. We're like, look, the money's not in the budget for that. You'd have to have a special assessment. And I guarantee you, most of the people in here are not going to vote for a special assessment for one building when we have, I don't know, 10 or 12 other buildings. And the roof doesn't need to be replaced at this point in time, maybe in 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
But we have to budget that into the reserve plan annually. So, and guess what? We're the first board that actually balanced the reserve plan. And
How
now
can they say you're not doing a good job? Who are these people, Doctor?
They're crazy people. They don't know what they're doing. They and they won't research it. They won't look at anything. They won't read the bylaws. They
Takes time.
Statutes.
Takes time to read stuff.
And
it doesn't take time.
A coffee break.
A coffee break. And that's a nice thing to have. Don't you think? A new coffee cup for your coffee break on Sunday mornings?
How about a coffee question?
Let's do that right now.
Let's do that.
Here's the phone number you need, folks. 877-969-8600. 877-969-8600. And first person with the correct call. We always talk about something the question's always about something we talked about at the first part of the show. So today's question will be, and this, by the way, this is for two, not one, but two Dr. Bill, your Radio MD coffee mugs, and they are gorgeous. Very solid. You could drop this coffee mug. It's not going to shatter on you. I get the feeling.
But it'll break your toe.
Exactly. Yeah. You may have to go see your office. But
make sure your foot's not in the way.
Very solid. Anyway, the question today deals with, let's say, geography and politics. We'll go with politics. There's a new leader in a Southern American country who's very conservative. So conservative. In fact, that former President Trump said he's going to go down there and see the guy. He was so impressed with him. Yeah. So tell me what country he's in. They're in a mess right now. Their inflation's like 190% or something like that. So,
yep.
Do you remember the country? We were talking about it about 25 minutes ago. If you do, give us a call. The number to call is 877-969-8600. And I guess we'll be back.
By the way, before we go, I want to tell everybody now the state passed a new law. And starting this year, your operating expense budget and your operating budget and your reserve plan budget, they have to balance in an HOA.
I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be switching positions in HOAs around the state. I think probably many of them are not really qualified.
No, they're not, but that's democracy.
There you go. All right, we'll be back.
All right, we'll be right back. I'm Dr. Bill. Hey, Ken, turn the feedback on.
Of the hour, only on AM 860, The Answer.
We'll have a mix of clouds and sunshine today with a thunderstorm in parts of the area and a high of 79, then very cloudy tonight with a shower in spots and a low of 67. Less humid tomorrow, variable cloudiness, high on Monday 73, then low humidity Tuesday with variable cloudiness and a high of 66. That's your AccuWeather forecast. I'm Holly Holdren for AM 860, The Answer.
Go, Doc.
I'm back. This is Dr. Bill. Hey, look behind me, Ken. You see that guy up there?
I do.
That's me.
Really? What are you doing? What were you doing there?
That's about 30 feet up in the air. It's an obstacle course that you climb. It was in the Mount Yote area at the hotel we were staying at. They have a park back there.
This
It
is
is-
Singapore?
No, this is Hokkaido, northern
Hokkaido.
Japan.
Okay.
And the school kids come from all over the area, from all over the island, which is a big island. You know, it's about an 8 or 10 hour drive from top to bottom, maybe longer. I don't know. And so they fly kids in, and they do this as like a field trip. And so there's a bunch of teenagers and me up there. So they have two courses. They have the baby course, and Myungju and I did that one. And then I said, I'm going to do the really tough course. And I asked the kids, the young people that were manning the event, I said, do you think I can do it? They said, yeah, you can do it. So I strapped up and went up, and I'm up there 30 feet, 40 feet in the air, and zip lining and climbing. And you're hooked up to, if you
Oh,
can,
you got a harness on there. Yeah.
yeah, you got a harness on. So it's a line here that runs across, and it's a cable. And so if you fall, you'll be okay, but it'll scare the poop out of you. So at any rate, so I did this course, and I mean, I didn't have a hard time with the course. I had a hard time with my shortness of breath, and I was sweating like a dog. I mean, I'm just covered in sweat. And I come down, and all the kids at the station there that put the gear on you and take it off, they're laughing at me. I said, come on, I'm almost 75. They said, hey, we had an 80-year-old guy do it last week. I was like, rub my face in it, dude.
Well, it looks like it was fun. I've done some zip lining. It's fun.
Yeah, well, yeah. The zip part doesn't come till the very end.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's worth getting there.
Yeah, it's worth getting there. It's not a real long zip line. You just go from one side of the courtyard to another. But it was interesting, I'll tell you, and it was not easy.
They've got some down in the Caribbean. If you want to go find a zip line, you'll find some pretty good ones down there.
Yeah. Oh, if you take Royal Caribbean and you go and stop at Liberty, which is their little resort area, then they've got a zip line there, which is really cool. It goes over the bay. It's a pretty long ride too.
I think I've been on that one.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
All right. So in New York City.
Oh, but we got a winner, by the way, before we go on.
We got a winner. Okay. Who we
Yes. Salvatore Sachs down in Parrish. Our winner. Yes.
Wow. Welcome to the show.
Exactly. Thanks for calling in. He knew that Argentina was the correct
Argentina.
answer.
Oh, by the way, Alex, I haven't gotten your mug out yet, buddy, but I'll get those out today and tomorrow. I'll get you and Salvatore's out. So I didn't forget you. I've just been busy with the Thanksgiving holiday.
Right. And thanks to everybody who, did you have a nice Thanksgiving?
Oh, I had a great Thanksgiving. We went over to my son's girlfriend's house and had dinner. Her mother made a big to-do, and everybody brings dishes, and it was very pleasant. Had a little fire pit outside, and just really nice. Dogs running around, chickens in the yard.
What?
A couple of peacocks walked by, and They're nasty animals.
Peacocks? I've never encountered one.
Oh, they poop all over.
I was attacked by a duck once, but never a peacock.
I've been attacked by ducks, yeah.
They can be ferocious.
Speaking of attacks, there was a New York Palestinian guy who just got 7 years for a brutal anti-Semitic beating in 2021. So he finally made it to court, and they locked his butt up. And guess what? His homies were in there, and they started raising hell because they thought it was unfair. They thought he should only get 3 years because it was a Jew. So what's the difference?
Man.
But, he looks pretty muscular too. At any rate, so they had to call in security and clear the courtroom, and big to do.
Oh, this happened in the courtroom. Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the courtroom.
Tough. Enjoy your stay.
So what are we doing about the economy here?
Well, what? Nobody's doing anything about the economy.
Well, I mean, I'm seeing people on TV and online that are saying they can't handle it, and nurses saying they're living paycheck to paycheck, and nurses usually do pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how or what will stop this, but this goes back to the Argentina thing where they have rampant inflation, and I'm concerned.
Well, I don't know how you stop it. I thought really historically it's been the Fed raising interest rate that stops inflation, but doesn't seem to be happening this time. It's slowed, but it's not stopped.
No, it's not stopped, and they want it below 3%.
2.
As a 2. Oh, yeah, they want it to 2%. Yeah. How are we going to do that?
I have no idea. We have to cut. Well, we have to stop spending money and start paying off debt. That would help.
Yeah, but you have to be able to get the people in that are willing to do that. And if you, it's like Canada. When I say to the Canadians, well, you guys voted in communism, so what do you expect when you can't get health care? They said, Doc, it's not us. It's not the people coming to Florida. It's all the people who are not making much money. And I don't know what you do about that. If you have a guaranteed income, you're going to push up inflation more, because the more you pay, the more people have to pay for the goods that they buy, because you have to raise your prices to cover the cost of paying them.
That's right.
It's a dog chasing its tail.
It's a vicious cycle that'll never end. It'll just get spiral up and up and up and up.
Yeah, I got a bill from a plumber once, and it said, please pay me so I can pay him, so he can pay them, so they can pay you.
That's right.
So
crazy.
I said, yep, that's true.
I don't know. If you come up with an answer, you're president. I mean,
well, I think one thing is we got to slow down on the social spending, but remember that the majority of the social spending are the Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. That's over 50% of it right there.
Yeah. So,
and
you want to send grandma out on the street?
Yeah. And people are not going to give that up.
No. Old people vote. That's one thing they still have plenty of time to do.
And organize and come after me.
Yeah.
So here's one thing that's really killing all of us, especially us little business guys and doctors the most, because we're the most regulated of almost any industry, and that's regulations. Mm-hmm. So the more regulations you put in, the more people you have to ensure that you meet those regulations, the more attorneys, the more oversight. You've got quality assurance, you've got risk management, and all this just keeps building up and building up and building up. And regulatory committees and oversight committees, and the hospitals have to have certification from the Joint Commission. The Joint Commission is a private nonprofit company, but they take their marching orders from, guess who? The federal government, Medicare. So they have to go by their rules and regs, and if they don't, then they'll lose that contract, and there's nobody there to take that slack up. So, I mean, we should have some oversight, and I think that it's good that we do have people that look at us and say, I think you need to do this and fix this in order to be safer or more efficient or have less lawsuits or whatever. And we have to take courses like medical errors and things like that, where we look at in an organized fashion the things that can cause us to have lawsuits, paper errors, wrong site surgery errors, missing diagnoses, especially cancers. So when I do a chest X-ray in my office, and if anything even looks like it's, a blip off the charts, then I'll send you for a CAT scan of your chest, because I don't want to see you die of cancer. And guess what? I don't want to get sued. So there are,
and it all increases the cost.
and it all increases the cost. And so people say, well, why is medicine so costly? Well, everybody wants everything. People don't come in and say, my hip hurts. They come in and say, I need an MRI of my hip.
They really, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And I say, okay, why? And they say, well, I'm having pain with this movement and that movement, and it hurts here to touch. And sometimes I'll say, well, it's just the bursa is inflamed, and I inject it with some cortisone, and they're better for a while anyway. I mean, the joints aren't going to last forever. Between weight-bearing activity and age and obesity, joints wear out. So we've got a lot of regulations, and this is what the oil industry was complaining about, because the Democrats came in and laid down all these regulations in order to meet their green plan. And guess what? Guess what, Ken? You can't do it. You cannot get all of this done with all these regulatory demands in place and expect to keep it within the bounds of cost efficiency. It doesn't work. All you do is drive up the cost of oil and gas when you have all these regulations, or you make it so that these companies are buying their oil from outside of the United States instead of producing our own and then refining it here, or even having it refined somewhere else and just bringing the oil and the kerosene and the diesel here. That's what we do in Florida.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
We don't refine any of our own. We don't have many refineries here in Florida, and we don't have pipelines coming in here. So everything comes in on a ship. Gasoline,
Yeah, that's
diesel,
yeah.
everything.
Truck it in and ship it in. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
That's it. They truck it in and they ship it in, and that's it. And that cost.
Well, you seem to think that inflation is just going to keep going. We're not going to really see an end to this here.
As long as there's as much money in circulation as there is, you're going to have inflation. Now, the Fed's starting to buy back some of that, get some of that money back. And remember, there is fiscal and monetary policy, and they're two different things. Fiscal is what Congress and the president want, and monetary is what the people that print the money will agree with and allow. And so you can say, well, we want to spend, $300 billion on this project, but you have to go to the Congressional Budget Office and the agencies that do all of the research on this, Ken, and they look at it and they do the numbers and crunch the numbers, say, you can't do it unless you have X number of dollars here. So you're going to have to sell X number of T-bills to get the money into the Treasury so that you can cover the cost of what you want to do. But remember, you got to pay that back. You got to pay that back.
And they never do.
No, we probably have been in debt since we were first formed as a country, but it's gotten to be quite a big chunk of our gross national product, and so our interest on the debt is so large that it's bigger than our total gross national product. So
and that's scary. That scares me. Anything that much out of control can't last.
Yeah. So let's say that our budget this year is $6 trillion. We're paying at least that in interest.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yes, it is. That's why I'm scared.
That's a lot of money. And where do you get it? Well, you have to raise taxes.
Well, I'm scared from the future, not my generation, but future generations, certainly.
And where do you get the tax money? You get it from people who are working.
That's right.
And guess what? They can't afford what they got. Most people are struggling. When an apartment that cost $500 5 or 10 years ago in St. Petersburg's now going for $2,500 a month, that there are a lot of people that are just not going to have an apartment.
Exactly.
They're going to move in with their families, or they're going to move out of the area. It's a bad situation.
I don't know what we can do. Nobody's got any real answers in Washington. I don't hear any answers coming out from anybody.
And you kill the small businesses, and guess what? Most people are employed by small businesses.
You're going to kill the jobs, right? Yeah.
You're going to kill the jobs because most businesses in the United States are 100 employees or less. That's what's considered a small business.
I know you're probably not going to like this, but could we use a tough recession right now?
Well, it would certainly cool things down, but would it quell unrest? I don't know. We've already got a lot of people that are upset. And remember, during the pandemic, we had a lot of people out on the streets burning things and raising hell and making all kinds of silly demands.
Blocking intersections and all that stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know what happens if you have even more people unemployed. We probably are going to have a soft landing. And hopefully the Fed knows what they're doing, because certainly Congress doesn't.
That's right. But we all love our congressmen, and that's the problem.
I don't know how much we love them, but
they seem to bring a lot of money back to the districts, and it's all planned to make sure they get elected again. Yep. But when they're together, they can't seem to do a whole lot.
So I got two questions here now. One, the news announcer at the break was talking about the child sex abuse, because I guess TikTok or somebody's allowing some perverse kind of stuff to be on air or be online there. And so, Ken, I have a serious question here. What is the cutoff age for child sex abuse? I want to know. Is there a cutoff age?
Yes, there is. Legally, I think it's 17.
17?
17, under 17.
Under 17.
I think it's different in every state. Every state has their own juvenile adult line marker there in the age group.
It used to be 14 or 15 here in Florida, but I guess they changed it, huh?
Well, that 15 seems a little young to me, but
Well, I think that the idea is that the girls will mature faster than the boys, but still we got to protect them because they're not there yet. They're not going to have the same filters that a 25-year-old woman's going to have, and the guys aren't going to be mature till they're 30.
If then, some say 60.
Well, according to my wife, it hadn't happened yet. Now, I also want to know about the Israelis. What's going on there? I didn't listen this morning. Did they let some more people go?
They're supposed to do it today. I don't think they have yet today. Why, though, are the Israelis releasing twice as many prisoners as the Gazians or whatever they're called?
Well, who wants to feed the Palestinians? Israelis don't. They sure don't.
It's a tax move. I see. It's a tax issue.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Was there something else I had on my plate here?
We got about 4 minutes left in the show here.
We got 4 minutes. Okay. I wanted to reiterate some of the Medicare topics we talked about. Again, there are 4 parts to Medicare: A, B, C, and D. Mm-hmm. A is the hospital coverage. B is the doctor and outpatient coverage. C is the Medicare Advantage plans, basically the HMOs, and then D is the drug plan. And you can get Medicare A and B. You have to pay for B through your Social Security, and you can also get D if you want it, or you can get a Medigap plan, which is like a secondary coverage for your Medicare A and B, and those plans can pick up medications, co-pays. They can add in things like dental and vision and hearing, as Ken was saying before. And the basic Medicare fee per month, the plan's premium per month is what is it, Ken?
174, I think, next year.
174, and it goes up as your income goes up. And as I said earlier, we're paying $500 a month each now, so we're paying an extra $1,000 a month because of our one-time capital gains from selling the office building. By the
You
way,
shouldn't be punished for that. I don't know why you're being punished.
we're still in the building, Ken. We're still there. We're not leaving. We still have the same practice. We did not sell the practice. And so if anybody's worried that I'm leaving you, I'm not leaving you. I'm here with you.
Don't go anywhere. I need you, Doc, for a few years yet.
And a few years more and until you catch cancer and die. And then
That's pretty much what we're waiting for. Yeah.
we're just waiting for that.
We figure it's an inevitability, and just a matter of when, not how.
It's not it.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't laugh because it's very serious. A lot of people have cancer right now, probably saying, how could he laugh at something like that? But my family history is so Alzheimer's heavy that I just don't want to go into that stage of life. I really don't. So might as well have some fun while I'm here. 2 minutes left, Doc. 2 minutes.
All right. Well, guess what? Guess what did more damage than hurricanes? What natural disasters?
Flooding?
Here too.
Flooding? Fire?
Tornadoes.
Tornadoes.
Tornadoes and flooding. So storms bringing hail and tornadoes have caused more losses than all the hurricanes in 2023. How about that?
Are there rates going up there in Iowa? I hope so.
I hope they are, because we don't want to pay all the high rates down here. Do we have is anybody insuring homes down here anymore?
Pretty soon you're not going to be able to buy a home. The way prices are going these days. And people are still flooding into Florida. I can't blame them. I mean, look at the weather.
And the woman who has been so vociferous and going after me here at the HOA, she had a lot of damage inside her house, so she's going to have a lot of drywall redone. And I keep telling everybody in the community, not only do you need homeowners and flood, you don't have to have flood here because we're not in a V zone, but get it because we're low enough down that if we get a Cat 4, we're inundated. But you also need to have water damage insurance, Ken.
Yeah, sure.
You
the
have
roof,
to
whatever.
have,
yeah.
Now the roofs are covered by the HOA, that they're common property. So you don't have that big expense, which cuts down your homeowner's insurance tremendously.
Doc, we're going to have to pick this up next week. You got 20 seconds left. You want to give the phone number for the house? The office, not the house, the office.
727-384-6411, 727-384-6411. No, we do not have a home phone. I'm Dr. Bill. I'll talk to you next week.
Don't even try.
Don't even try.
5 seconds, Doc. Say, see you next week or whatever.
See you next week at whatever.
Thank you for listening to Dr. Bill, your radio MD. Join Dr. Bill every Sunday morning at 9 for more insight, information, provocation, and fun. Dr. Bill Handelman practices in St. Petersburg, Florida at Bay Area Medical Can Care Clinic, 6399 38th Avenue North. For your convenience, telemedicine appointments are available. Call his office today at 727-384-6411. That's 727-384-6411. Or visit his website at cancareclinic.com.